clean, RPO flow, so you know we pitch it to Raheem. Trent's out front, so you know what it's gonna be. Bubble screens at the house, and they screaming TD on repeat. Debo's at the line, it's a freebie. Usek's in the back, and he's like, they don't see me. Faithful, stand up, it's time to get greedy.
What is going on, 49ers faithful? Welcome to another episode of the 49ers Rush podcast. I love it seeing the hashtag CC. What's up, Noe? Hey, Lewis. Welcome. Love everybody showing up on, I think it's Thursday. I don't even know my days of the week right now. It's so crazy. You get into the rhythm of the season and the school year and all these different things. But man, once the keeping pace with, film breakdowns and scouting reports and practice reports, that's my calendar. And so with the calendar gone, it gets a little rough. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It was funny. We recorded our podcast last week, the day Robert Saleh officially signed with the Jets. And I remember saying on the podcast, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to speculate, because there's so many question marks. Who's going to take over all those things? Well, guess what? We have some finality to it now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the 49ers moves, kind of where everything is in the state of the franchise, the defense, the offense. There's movement everywhere. Obviously, we're going to talk some NFL draft. Two of the top corners we're going to be diving into considerably. I'm going to show some film clips, some breakdowns, go over some scouting reports that I have on them, my draft write-ups for them, some stats, all those different things. Really like this cornerback draft. And again, you look at the state of the franchise for the quarterback position, it's not good. It's bad. We have nobody signed. There's nobody. So cornerback is something that is probably going to be addressed both in free agency and in the NFL draft. Now, where, is it going to be the first round pick? A lot of people want quarterback there. Corners, it's got to play a role at some point. It's a premium position in the NFL. Is it as important as quarterback? Absolutely not. But you still got to do something there. And I'm seeing it right off the bat. What's up, Martin? Jerick McKinnon. I didn't put this in my draft notes, but I'm seeing it already brought up in the chat. So, yeah, let's chit-chat about this just a little bit. Because Jerick McKinnon, him and Debo went live on Instagram yesterday. And the question was basically asked, to Jerick McKinnon, are you willing to come back to the 49ers next year? To which he responded, F no. I get it. As a football player, you want to play. His playing time here was not significant whatsoever. The injuries, but the 49ers were loyal to him. But even with, you look at how it finally finished, he got no playing time whatsoever. A lot of that's because he sucked, but as a player, you can't have that mindset. You have to have, somebody's stopping me from being as great as I want to be, so I've got to move on. And to be honest with you, the 49ers weren't going to bring him back anyway. He cashed in with us, though, so I don't think he's upset with the 49ers, but I don't think he wants to go somewhere he can play. And I wish him the best. It was awful watching Jet play, and the nickname just didn't follow, whether that was the injuries or what. Running backs have a shelf life. Unfortunately, he spent his on IR for the 49ers, which is a bummer. No ill will. I get it. I understand the mindset, even if it is completely misplaced, which that is, because, again, he was trash. All right. So if you guys have questions, as always, please put those in the chat. Tag me at John Chapman so that I can see it. Yeah, McKinnon, goodbye. I'm with you, Eddie. We got to get that guy out of here, and it's just done. Now, there are some different moving pieces out there, and let's talk about that. So Robert Saleh officially goes to the Jets, and I'm so happy for him. It just came out. He's not even going to be calling the defense. He's going to focus on head coach, personnel, all that stuff. I think that's the best choice Robert Saleh could ever make. His biggest deficiency was in in-game adjustments, and so I'm happy for him, happy for the Jets, hope they do well. But now let's focus on the 49ers. The 49ers are going to receive 2 third-round picks, baby, for this move. The best time in the history of the NFL to lose a defensive coordinator. We got lucky. And so we get a third-round pick in 2021 and then a third-round pick in 2022 as well. This is part of the NFL's kind of movement to try to get more minority hires. We're seeing that it's helping, but not enough. The fact that Eric Bieniemy still doesn't have a head coaching job is just absolutely ludicrous. I don't know if he's just a terrible interviewer, but I don't think that's the issue. Whenever you see what he has put out there on the field, man, that guy, he should have a head coaching job. There's no doubt about it. But so the 49ers get 2 draft picks. Now, these are back-end comp picks. So around pick 100, there's 32 picks in every single round, and then they add in 32 compensation picks. So if we add this to the updated 49ers where we're picking, we got a lot of draft picks, okay? So let's go through it. This is our updated draft pick order. We have our first rounder. We have our original second rounder. Now, we traded away our third for Trent Williams. That was a great trade. You got an all-pro left tackle year 1. Now we get the third back for Robert Saleh. Now, if you're looking at just the difference between where our original pick was, it would have been around pick 75, the one that we traded away. Excuse me. Pick 74 to be exact, to Washington. So they got that pick. And so we're going to be getting back around pick 100. So we're dropping back about 25 spots, but still. Then we have our original 4th, our original 5th rounder, but we get 2 extra 5th round picks. So we're going to have 3 total. And if you look at the 49ers history in the 5th round, everybody loves it. Drake Greenlaw, George Kittle. Yeah, they've done very, very well there. Now, do you expect that? Hell no. If you expect that, no, just no. But you do like that there's a little bit of history there and having success in that 5th round. So we got our original 5th round. Then we get a 5th round pick from the Saints for Quan Alexander. That has not finalized yet, which I don't know why. All of the reports keep saying that he met all of the play qualifications. So we'll have to see what happens there. Their pick in the 5th round will be pick number 122. And then we'll get another 5th round compensation pick for Emmanuel Sanders, also signing with New Orleans. So that pick's going to be even dropped further, probably around pick 140. Then we've got a 6th rounder, our original, and then we get an additional 7th rounder in the Jordan Willis trade with the New York Jets. So we got that 7th rounder, and then our original 7th. So we got a lot of picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 draft choices in the 2021 NFL draft currently. Now, John Lynch, probably one of my favorite things about John Lynch is that he will move around the draft board like a crazy person. We have seen so many trades. Last year, they trade, from 13 down, and then they trade, from 31 up. They move like crazy. He almost broke the record for most draft day trades his very first year as GM. I expect that to continue. Do the 49ers need to draft 10 people? Maybe. We do have a solid roster. We are losing a lot. So you want to bring in a bunch, but you've got to make something happen with those picks. You've got to hit. And a lot of people are saying, hey, use those picks. Use them all to go get Deshaun Watson. I am with you. If you have to trade 3 first-rounders for Deshaun Watson, you do it. I don't think there's any way Houston loses Deshaun Watson. And if they do lose him, you look at teams like the Jets or Miami that just have so much more draft capital than we do. Multiple first-rounders in multiple years. It's hard for us to compete with that. Now, the one thing that I will say is very beneficial about the 49ers and Houston Texans, we're not in the AFC. So if you're going to trade a top 3 quarterback in the NFL that's 25 years old, I think, you want to trade them out of conference. So that's one area that would put us up over the Jets and Miami. Obviously, he loves 49ers. He's seen them walking around in the Joe Montana jersey. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really, really don't. Daniel asked this, will there be games at the stadium this year? I don't know. I'd like to say they should be happening. There's no doubt they should have happened this year. But my sons, they postponed. My son plays high school football. We live in Pasadena. And, they postponed the season, postponed it. They finally canceled it. And what's going to change now, to August. Yeah, the vaccine and all those things are going out, and hopefully they increase. But NFL players are not going to be on the vaccination list. Absolutely not. So the NFL has already informed all teams. We're staying under the exact same protocols that we did for the 2020 offseason. They've canceled the combine, which pisses me off. And they're going to be able to do medical checks and all those things, but that's not for the fans. That's not for us. We don't get to see it. So there's some problems there. I think NFL it's going to happen for sure. If it happened this year, it's going to happen next year. But yeah, you're right. There's a possibility 29 teams in the NFL are going to be able to have fans and all those things. And the 49ers might be one of the only teams, them California teams, with nobody there. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty bummed about it, but San Francisco and LA, they're just, I don't know. I'll stay out of that one. Anyway, so Robert Saleh's gone. And we also lost a GM. Well, not a GM. One of our personnel people, Martin Mayhew, joined the Washington football team. And man, so close. He had a couple interviews for GM jobs. He didn't get one. So we get no compensation pick for him leaving, but I'm happy for him. He was our number 3 in the personnel. It went John Lynch, Adam Peters, Martin Mayhew. Martin Mayhew's gone. He was our number 3. He's going to be their number 2. And the language in this new rule says the only way you will be rewarded for compensation pick is if a minority or a woman, whatever, becomes the primary personnel decision maker. He's not going to be that. He's going to be the number 2. So he got a promotion, but it doesn't reflect in a pick. The good news is Adam Peters gets to stay. So our number 1 and our number 2 on the personnel side does not change whatsoever. Now, with Saleh gone, we had to promote DC DeMeco Ryans, and it didn't take long at all. Kyle Shanahan knew what he was going to do before this. He talked about how he would consider DeMeco Ryans, and I really, really like this kid. I loved him coming out of college. He was the rookie of the year back in 2006, came out of Alabama, went to the Houston Texans, and it was just a freaking stud player. Now, he played there for the Houston Texans back when Kyle Shanahan was a coach there. So the Shanahan loyalty program continues as strong as ever. And he was defensive rookie of the year, 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, the guy was just a beast, all-pro linebacker. So he's done it from the player perspective. But as a coach, he didn't have a lot of experience. He came on with the 49ers at 2017 as a defensive quality control coach when Kyle Shanahan came in. And after that year, John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, one of the best beat writers for the Texans, I think he's covered them for like 45 years, he said that the Texans put in and tried to snatch DeMeco Ryans away from the 49ers, and Shanahan blocked it and gave him a promotion. So that first year, he was a defensive quality control coach. Texans tried to come get him. Shanahan is very, very stingy with his coaches, and so he promoted him to inside linebackers coach so that he could keep him. And now, after 2 short years, he's going to be the defensive coordinator. I love this move. I really, really do, for several reasons. One, our scheme now has continuity. Nothing's going to change. We have somebody else calling the defense. There's going to be some learning moves there, but the continuity for the scheme is so important. Our defense worked. Even last year, whenever you look at all the injuries and all the stuff that happened, we still had a top 5 defense. Top 5. We finished 5th in total yards allowed. You could look at points. We're still top 10. Like, we had a great defense. Now, if you take away all the points Nick Mullins gave the other team, we're probably even higher than that. I digress. I had to get that out. I feel a little bit better. but the linebackers of this team, they're huge. Fred Warner is as important as anybody on this roster. Dre Greenlaw, huge. Look at the huge step Azeez made. I love that we are flourishing at that position. You promote that position, and everything should stay the same. Now, one of the things that got Robert Saleh the job, rightfully so, I'm very, very happy for him. I hope he does well, but it was time for him to go, and I hope he dominates out there. But his enthusiasm and the way players loved him. We all have the famous gif of him just going crazy on the sidelines. We've seen it 100 times. Go back and watch that. You're going to see a guy right behind him going crazy as well. That's DeMeco Ryans. That dude's enthusiasm, it's on par, if not further ahead than Robert Saleh. The dude is an animal, and the way that he interacts with players is just wonderful. He just seems like an awesome human being. Everywhere he has been, nobody has anything bad to say about this guy. He played with Philly for a while. I've got a lot of really close Eagles friends. They love this guy. Even talked with a couple of the writers over there. Nothing but glowing remarks. Nobody has anything bad to say about him. So again, you're keeping that player locker room. People want to be here, not Jerick McKinnon, but everybody else wants to be here. I love it. So DeMeco Ryans, he's going to be our DC. And you're talking about somebody with very little coaching history. But let's see kind of what happens. Let's see what happens. Joseph says, man, most of our coaches are off to New York, New York. You're not wrong. Robert Saleh did bring Mike LaFleur with him to New York. But I'm going to be honest with you. LaFleur was leaving no matter what. He would have left last year if Shanahan didn't block it. His brother in Green Bay, which they can't make any moves right now because, they're still playing. But he would have gone to Green Bay if he didn't go with LaFleur to New York. And that's great because we got to keep the other guy that was so important. Again, it went Kyle Shanahan, he's everything. He's still calling the plays, so whatever. Then you had two play architects, LaFleur and Mike McDaniels. McDaniels was the run game. LaFleur was the passing game. So the fact that LaFleur went to New York, that means we got to keep McDaniel. And he had interviews for offensive coordinator positions on his own. And so we got really, really lucky. We promoted him to pure OC, and he's incredible. I love this guy. The relationship that he has, the two most prominent players that have come out and spoken so highly on him are Kyle Juszczyk and Trent Williams. Guess what? Both of those are free agents now that want to return to the 49ers. This definitely helps with that. McDaniel, he's graduated from Yale. He's smart. You see the guy, he's like 5'8", 180. I mean, he's exactly what you want in an offensive coordinator, right? You look at it and you just say, holy cow, this guy, he's like a mad scientist. It's just what he looks like. Now, you look at his coaching history, and he has followed Kyle Shanahan everywhere. He was an intern with the Denver Broncos under Kyle Shanahan's dad back in 2005. Then the Houston Texans, Washington Redskins, he was there. Went to Cleveland with Shanahan, Falcons with Shanahan, then to the 49ers. He has never been a part of anything. They did have 1 year where he coached the Sacramento Mountain Lions, as running backs coach. But then he joined right back with Kyle Shanahan. So this guy's been around. You love to have him. He's followed Shanahan everywhere, and he's one of the chief architects of a lot of those dominating run plays. That's what he's an X and O type of guy that has molded the offense to get Kyle Juszczyk more involved. Kyle Juszczyk credits him with a lot of his success this year, saying Mike McDaniels, he creates these plays. Again, Shanahan's the play caller, Shanahan's scheme, but this is important. Now, the good news is we got somebody back. Our old quarterback coach, Rich Scangarello. I freaking love it. Yeah, he was our quarterbacks coach the first year whenever Kyle Shanahan came and joined the 49ers. And then right after that, he got the offensive coordinator gig with the Denver Broncos. 1 year, didn't go well. And then he was with Philadelphia Eagles last year. Now he's back. And what's crazy, and this just came out as well, Robert Saleh was trying to get him too. And so it turned into a little bit of a bidding war going after this guy to be the quarterback's coach. The 49ers won, obviously. So that's great. But man, hey, Robert Saleh, come on, man. You can't do that to us. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. The NFL's cutthroat. No ill will there. But man, maybe no Christmas card this year from Shanahan trying to fight for his guy. So lots of moves there, but really lots of positives. You can't get upset about people getting better jobs. That means your franchise is successful. And Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree continues to expand. Pretty excited. He's young. He's not as young as some of the other guys out there, but whenever this is all said and done, I guarantee you this: Mike McDaniel's going to be an offensive coordinator or a head coach for a long time, because you don't go backwards. Scangarello, all right, he went from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator, and then he went back to quarterback coach. So, like, it's not like you go down. You kind of stay the same. And Mike McDaniel's going to be around for a long time until he gets a head coaching gig, which, man, if the 49ers can correct the quarterback position, whether that means Jimmy staying healthy, which I know a lot of people just, like, grinned or whatever, or that means going and getting somebody else in the NFL draft, this offense has not seen its best yet. It really, really hasn't. The weapons continue to increase skill position-wise. Just got to get – O-line's got some issues, and that quarterback position done. And once that happens, boy. We'll have to see what happens, man. It's all there. Yeah, Trent Baalke has been named the Jaguars. Oh, man. General manager. Trent Baalke he's something else. He's never gotten along with anybody. He started fights with every single coach, every single front office he's ever been. There are historic stories about him throwing huge fits up in the press box. He's just not a cool dude. The one thing I will say that I did like about Baalke is how he manipulated the draft board. He traded around like crazy, and then he drafted ACL players every damn time. It pisses me off. Anthony asked this: the third round pick that we get for Robert Saleh, is it the middle of the third? No, it's going to be at the very end. So around pick 100. There are a few other teams as well that will be receiving third round picks from minority hires. Us and the Rams are the ones that I know for sure. Not sure. Not sure who else there, but it's what it is. Now, let's see here. Big Golden Nugget says, 10 rookies won't make the team. Absolutely not. That never happens. You look to last year, I believe the only rookie that didn't make the team was Juwan Jennings, and then he tore his hamstring. That was awful, right? But the team that we had in 2019 and the team that we had in 2021 is big time different. We have way more vacancies than we did last year. Now, obviously, no, 10 rookies will not make the team. That's not going to happen. But the one thing I can say is this: there's a better chance to make this team. Because what the 49ers have done, and a lot of NFL teams have done this as well, we have upgraded the top-end talent of our roster. And this is what happens when teams get good. You have to pay good players. You got to pay George Kittle. You got to pay Fred Warner. You're going to have to pay Trent Williams. So what happens is the shift in the money that we spend, it continues to go to the top. And as that happens, your depth has to be sacrificed. So the middle of your roster is not going to be as talented as it was in the past. It just can't. Especially whenever you talk about Nick Bosa, he's 2 years away from an extension as well. Like, there's just so much there. We have a lot of top-end talent. If you just look at our roster right now, we have, again, look at the elite positions that we have. Most teams can't say this. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 22 positions, right? Okay, we have the number 1 tight end in the NFL. If you want to say, well, Kelsey, what he did this year, that's fine. Okay, 1 or 2 tight end. I think he's the best, whatever. And you're paying him as such. Fred Warner, you have the number 1 linebacker in the NFL. You're going to have to pay him as such. Trent Williams, the number 1 left tackle, you're going to have to pay him as such. Nick Bosa, right? There's not a better end out there in the NFL. I believe that, even just after his rookie year. That's how special he was. Obviously, ACL sucks. He's got plenty of time to recover. He should be just fine. But if he plays on par with what he did his rookie year, top edge player, you got to pay that guy. It's just what it is. It adds up. And so whenever you're in that position, it's hard to pay so many positions elite money. And, if I want to add some fuel to the fire, here we go. Let's piss off half of the podcast listeners right now. You're actually getting somewhat of a deal this year for your quarterback currently. He's due $24 million against the cap. That is the 12th most for any quarterback. That's about where Jimmy G is. At least you're not paying, elite, top 5 money at the quarterback position. That's nice. But again, if you make one of those trades for somebody like Deshaun Watson or whatever, and Matt Stafford, then you are going to be paying elite top 5 money for one of those players at the quarterback position. So that's kind of rough. Anyway, I can see some arguing with the Texans. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Ryan, he says this. Oh, I disagree with this, Ryan. Let's talk. He says 49ers are close to a rebuild. 1, average quarterback. I agree with you there. 2, poached quarterbacks and the coaching staff. That's always going to happen when you have a successful program. 3, few free agent money. Yeah, I agree with you. We are hurting there. 4, over-reliance on Bosa coming off injury. 5, below average O-line help. I still think in the salary cap era, Ryan, and quality points. Yeah, I like some of the stuff you said. 1, there's probably 5 to 6 elite quarterbacks in this league. And so if you're the 25 other teams that don't have one of those 5 to 6, you're trying to get one. That's all there is to it. And even teams that have one of the 5 or 6, look at Aaron Rodgers, right? MVP of the year. He will be MVP of the year. They traded up in the first round to grab another quarterback. So not only, I guess the argument could be made, all 32 teams want to increase their quarterback value. So the 49ers are not alone. Coaching staff, as I said, that's going to happen for every team. Financially, we're right at the league average for 2021. We're not doing too bad. The fact that we're able to move Quan Alexander and that terrible contract away, Jerick McKinnon contract, that's done. We do have some contracts that are rough. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think that we're close to a rebuild. We have too many significant pieces in place, and the most important significant position is our coach, Kyle Shanahan. The guy has it. Now, do we need to upgrade some things? Yes. But again, if you have a top-tier left tackle, you've got a top-tier defensive end, you've got a top-tier middle linebacker. I love our 2 starting wide receivers, our tight ends the best. There's so many prominent pieces there. I don't think you're a rebuilding team whenever you have all of those that are there. Now, talking about rebuild, let's jump in to some draft talk, baby. All right. Cornerback is a huge position of need. We have nobody signed. And, I dove in pretty deep this week on Patreon for the top 2 corners. There's 3 top-tier corners in this draft. Patrick Surtain II, Alabama. He started since he was a true freshman. He is clean. He is sound. His ceiling's not super high. And I'm going to show you some video clips, and we'll talk through that. Then there's Caleb Farley. Okay, he's the opposite. He is not clean. He is not sound. He is raw athleticism and has an insane ceiling. Caleb Farley could be so good, he could be the top corner in the NFL. Nobody would be surprised. He opted out this year, but his ball skills are nuts. 6'2", 207. The thing that I wrote is sticky and cat-like. I kept saying he sticks to defenders. Anyway. And then you got J.C. Horn of South Carolina, another big physical corner. I haven't got through his film yet. I'm going to be doing that this weekend. So for all the Patreon subscribers, just want to say thank you. We're going to get some J.C. Horn from South Carolina film this weekend. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't joined us, man, come on. Head over there. Patreon.com, 49ers Rush. I just loaded, I think we got over 2 hours of clips in this week just at the cornerback position. It's a lot of fun. I love it. And so just watching film with you guys and going through that. Now, also, I do have to say, we are giving away a Nick Bosa jersey next episode for the Countdown crew. So if you are one of those people that's like, man, what is this countdown #CC crap I see all the time? You get a free Nick Bosa jersey just for hitting notification bell on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, wherever it is you listen. Hit that notification bell. And be ready. Next episode, we'll be going next week. And, man, free Nick Bosa jersey. Why not? Come on, guys. Jump on it. So, let's talk Patrick Surtain. All right? This guy, he's so clean. Now, every single corner in this class has some red flags. His red flag, top end speed. Gets beat deep. Not a lot, but it's not elite either. So here we go. I want to jump in just real quick to a clip. It's about a minute long. This is Patrick Surtain II. Obviously, we know that name, right? His dad, who was a Pro Bowl corner, he's out there. So here we go. This is Patrick Surtain being tested deep. And again, even if you aren't watching on YouTube, you can just kind of follow along. Here we go. Patrick Surtain. Oops, wrong button. Let's do that again. Here we go. Man coverage, you got inside safety help, looks like. So what you want to stop him from doing is having an outside release. That's what you can't allow here. Good inside, man. Hands on him, strong, in phase, perfect. Speed up, starting to give up a little territory, but you've got help to the inside. So allow it to come down. Oh, go make a play on the ball. Didn't really have a shot. That's just good bracket kind of coverage with the inside safety help. Does give up a couple though, and this is, we're being nitpicky here. You know, this is one of the guys that's going to be, you know, in the conversation for top corner in the draft. He does give up a couple strides. Great. Now he starts to distance himself. Stays outside, what you like, because again, you have inside help. So calm. He never is flustered. Even if he's out of phase, he's so calm and collected. The attitude, the kind of alpha male mentality that he has there. I know my job. I'm going to do my job. And so that's Patrick Surtain. Clean and sound. He doesn't get targeted. It's like, you know, you go through every single clip of this game coaching tape and several games, and you're just like, man, the teams don't even look his way. And that's the respect that this kid has earned through 3 years in the SEC. He was a 2020 SEC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. Nobody targeted him. That is the respect that you get. So whenever you draft him, you're getting somebody that's calm, cool, poise all the time. He's not somebody that's ever going to get rattled. That's just not who he is. His film is boring, though. And there's two positions where film that is boring is a good thing. One is cornerbacks. The second is offensive linemen. When they just negate the pass rush every single play, there's no give or take. It's just like guy running into a wall and quitting. I call him a duck corner because it's kind of like a duck in the pond, right? Like when they're on top of the water, they're calm, cool, and collected. But underwater, those feet are going crazy. His footwork is wonderful. Nick Saban, probably one of the best things about Nick Saban coach defenders, secondary players, is their footwork's always elite. Them in Washington, University of Washington, which their DC just went to Texas. Pretty excited about that. Hook 'em horns. But anyway, they're the most best coached secondary players. Now, is there a bad history, between Nick Saban and the 49ers? Yeah, you bet your ass there is. He definitely oversold some things and hid some truth and wasn't honest with our personnel, and so that affects it. Does that mean that Patrick Surtain now is no longer going to be a first-round option? I don't think so. I think he still is an option there. But this guy, the problem is, and the probably biggest negative, he's not super aggressive in the run game. He'll get involved. He's more aggressive than Caleb Farley is in the run game. But anyway, here's another clip real quick of Patrick Surtain, a really good clip where he runs the route. He's a film junkie. I don't know that from hearing that from the coaches. I don't know that because he said he's a film junkie. I know that because he knows what routes are coming so freaking often. And here's one of those examples. Oh, man, he took away that route. Woo. Like that safety play. Watch this. This is the play he got beat on earlier. He's got to kind of just stick to the outside, stem to the outside, and then come underneath on a drag. Watch him just cut this guy off. Ooh, I ran the route for you. Look at this. I'm in front of you. You're not throwing this. Man, that is good. That is very good technique. And so you see those plays consistently. It's not like it just does it once or twice. He knows what's coming. So he's a head case corner, and I mean that in the best way, because it's freaking Richard Sherman. Now, he doesn't have Richard Sherman attitude or talking trash or whatever. That's Caleb Farley, who we're about to get to. But Patrick Surtain II is going to be a first-round corner. Would not be shocked at all if he is the first corner off the board because he's a plug-and-play guy. This is a guy that 100% is going to start week one. I think Caleb Farley will as well. But he is clean and polished. But his ceiling is not near as high as either of the other two corners. I don't believe it is because top end speed is going to be a concern. Now, without the combine, God, that sucks so bad. Just Without that, you're not going to know his top end speed very well. Pro days are always off, and they always benefit the player. So we'll have to see what happens. But the 40-yard dash isn't that important for almost every single position. But the one position where it is of supreme importance, it's the cornerback position. Because if you get beat deep, you have to have that speed to make up and go get it. And I don't think Patrick Surtain has it. So that's an issue. Now, some of the stats for him, I mean, the guy was just all over the place. He was only targeted 49 times in 2019. This is back a full year. So a lot of the stats I'm going by are off of 2019 because that was a full year. So it kind of makes sense. Everybody kind of goes against everybody this year. Not everybody played, whatever else. But targeted 49 times. He only gave up 28 receptions. 1 touchdown allowed, 2 interceptions, a 65.1 passer rating allowed. He was all over the place. He's a hell of a player. So that's Patrick Surtain. I really, really do like him. He's a perfect fit for the 49ers and what they do zone-wise and all that stuff. He can handle everything. Now, a cover 3 corner, a little bit of a red flag there. It's not elite play, just because, again, a little bit of a question mark with the deep speed. But he is great in zone. He's amazing in man. He can do it all, as most Alabama corners kind of can. And there's a history of a lot of success. Marlon Humphrey's probably one of the top 5 corner in the league. Over with the Ravens. You've seen it. Drake Kirkpatrick, he's bounced around a little bit, but he's a corner. Yeah, Mika Fitzpatrick. You've seen these guys have success at the next level. And so you don't want to helmet scout too much, but there's a track record and how it translates. Now, let's go to the guy I like more. I have him rated ahead of Patrick Surtain. That's Caleb Farley, 6'2", 207, sticky and cat-like. This guy's a 2-year starter, raw. He was a quarterback in high school. He was recruited as a wide receiver to Virginia Tech. And so his first year, he went through training camp as a wide receiver. And it's like, you know what? Let's try this kid at corner. Holy cow, it didn't take long. Ball skills out the wazoo. This guy goes for the interceptions. Way more fun to watch, which is positive and negative. Does have his red flags as well. He does not like to get involved in the run game. Again, he was a quarterback and a wide receiver. Now, his body, his physicality's there. It's a mindset issue. Now, somebody is going to say, oh, we can teach him to be physical. And maybe they can, maybe they can't. We can't interview him. And so we don't know how that's going to go. But this guy only played 2 years. And he opted out 2020. So he didn't play 2020. He was already projected as a first-round corner. So he just said, I'm out whenever, COVID and all that kind of stuff. He was one of the very first people to opt out. But, he's fun. So here we go. Here is just to show you again the difference. What do you want out of corner? You want deep speed? This kid's got it. So this is Caleb Farley covering the deep route and just showing his speed off. Here we go. Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech cornerback. No safety help again. Opens his hips. Gosh, his top end speed, man. I wish we had the freaking combine for this kid. Watch him turn, okay? The rule is if you're even, you're leaving. Not with him. He is a strider, and he makes up that ground that he loses. This is a guy that you don't have to roll a safety over the top with. You're playing against guys like DK Metcalf, whatever. I'm not saying he's as fast as DK Metcalf, but that is the strength of this kid. You don't have to have safety over the top with him. The length and the speed, ooh, is good, man. I think the majority of teams will have him as the number 1 corner with an asset or an asterisk next to it saying physicality is an issue. It is an issue. So you look at Caleb Farley, everybody has issues. Otherwise, they'd be a top 5 pick. Even top 5 picks have issues, to be honest with you. So number 1, physicality in the run game. That's an issue. Number 2, got some injury history. And I just felt a lot of you guys just cringe like, oh, you sold us on him. Why are you doing that? He had a non-contact ACL back in 2017. Rehabbed, started 2 years after that, looked fine. Started having back spasms. Okay, now this is a concern. Played through them, didn't miss any games, but they were a problem. Now, the fact that he opted out this year is huge. Those medical checks, that's going to be everything. Back spasms are rough. There's no doubt about that, but he was able to play through them just fine. This kid's ceiling, I'm telling you right now, it's the highest in the draft of any cornerback. It's the highest. The kid has everything. 6 interceptions in his 2 years as a starter. Ball skills, top end speed, length, physicality. He's got it all. But, again, Trent Baalke's going to love this guy. That's all I got to say. The good news is we have 2 full years after his ACL, so it's not like he's coming off of an ACL already. Here is another clip of Caleb Farley just showing you his ball skills. Holy cow, man. This guy is aggressive. And the funny thing is, before this play, they did a double move deep, and he kind of bit on the in route. And then he was able to make up the speed. They didn't throw it his way on the kind of out and up. But then the very next play, they ran a comeback route. And he deleted it from his memory because he went straight for it. So here we go. Here's Caleb Farley just showing his ball skills and aggressiveness. Very few negatives. Experience and physicality. Man, 6'2", 210. Ooh. That is defense right there. Watch him drive on this. No, why would you throw that? He ran the damn route. Caleb Farley, baby. His feet are all over the place. His hips freaking swinging, and it doesn't matter. This guy just doesn't give up separation. Even playing a little too high, but it doesn't matter. He just has a feel for the game. God, that's incredible. Whew. Let's see this other side. I mean, he's got nowhere to throw that ball. He's on top of him. Gosh, man. Quarterback shouldn't have thrown that at all. So, and just to kind of put things into perspective, again, focusing on 2019 stats just because both these corners played there. He was targeted 50 times in 2019. He allowed 18 receptions, so less. Only 257 yards, 1 touchdown allowed, had 4 interceptions in 2019, a 26.8 passer rating, 12 forced incompletions. He's all over the freaking place. The kid is good. If you want to know the perfect body style and aggressive defender to play in a cover 3, you draw up Caleb Farley. He's perfect. He's absolutely perfect for what the 49ers do. Physicality, experience, and injury history. Is that enough to say no on this? I don't have J.C. Horn up yet. He is a corner that fits in this conversation with them. I'm doing that this weekend again. But here's the question. Draft philosophy. What do you do if you're the 49ers, right? Let's say you fix the quarterback position or whatever, or you ignore it, whatever. Let's say you want to go cornerback in the first round. What do you do whenever all 3 of these guys are staring you in the face? Do you draft ceiling, who's going to be the best eventually, or do you draft who's ready now? There is no doubt Patrick Surtain is cleaner now. But again, if you were to ask me, man, can Patrick Surtain be a top 5 corner in the NFL? I don't think he can. Does that mean you don't draft him? I don't think so. Tony Gwynn is like the best, one of my favorite baseball players of all time. Dude couldn't hit home runs, but it was singles and doubles all day long. There's nothing wrong with that. And so let's kind of see what that looks like. We'll just kind of have to see what happens. But anyway, I love it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you want more film stuff, head over to Patreon. That's where that's going to be. Next week, we got a couple big episodes. One, we're giving away a free Nick Bosa jersey next time, so that's what's up. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And I'll be active on Twitter, going crazy, putting up as many clips as I can. But, man, this is fun. Always great jumping on here and talking with you guys. Just want to say thank you. Really appreciate all the support. We're going to be here all year round. Draft talk, man, we've got just under 100 days until the NFL draft. So I got to get to work. I got a lot of work to do. But thank you. And as always, stay strong, faithful.